on the spot. We got 2 demos with Dead to Rights Retribution and APB. We take a look at what's new this week on Wii Shop Channel and see what new releases are hitting store shelves. Finally, Todd Pappy walks you through God of War 3 in our starting block. Today on the spot.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Today on the Spot for Tuesday, March 16th. I'm Sophia Tong, and I'm joined by Kevin Van Ord.
Hi, Sophia.
Hi, how are you?
Great.
Great. Did you have a nice GDC week last week?
I did have a good time. You had a better time. You worked harder than I did.
I did get to see a lot of great indie games, but I'm kind of sad I didn't get to squeeze any Final Fantasy 13 time. But what have you been playing?
Playing some Command & Conquer 4, some Dragon Age Origins Awakening, and Heavy Rain just for the fun of it. I finished it this weekend.
Yeah, I finished it the weekend before. How do you like it?
Loved it. Had a great time.
Yeah, me too. Definitely worth playing.
Absolutely.
But other games are worth playing. We have demos coming up for Dead to Rights Retribution as well as APB, so stay tuned for that. But first, let's check in with Tor Thorson for the latest headlines.
Hey everyone, it's your GameSpot news update for Tuesday, March 16th. I'm Tor Thorson. Microsoft is making much of its Xbox 360 exclusives this year. On Monday, it dated yet another title for the console, Crackdown 2. The sequel to the popular 2007 shooter platformer Hybrid will hit North America on July 6th, arrives in Asia and Australia on July 8th, and is booked for July 9th in the UK and Europe. Developed by new Scottish studio Ruffian Games, which took over from original Crackdown developer Real Time Worlds, the game will expand the first game's online cooperative play to 4 players. It will have competitive multiplayer modes for up to 16 players, and its campaign will feature a new menace to its city setting, a race of mutated zombies that Ruffian has dubbed the Freaks. And like most freaks, they only come out at night. In less welcome news, Activision has revealed the content pricing for the first Modern Warfare 2 map pack. The cheekily titled Stimulus Package will feature 3 new maps as well as 2 remakes of maps from Call of Duty 4. While the maps are a welcome addition to the controversy plagued game, the Stimulus Package's price did not get as warm a reception. It will cost 1,200 Microsoft points, or $15, when it arrives on Xbox Live on March 31st. A PlayStation Network and PC release will follow sometime later in the year for an unannounced price. Last but not least, Edge magazine claims it knows when Gears of War 3 will be coming out. Citing a trusted US publishing source, the British magazine says the game will arrive in April 2011, 1 year after its first trailer is set to launch next month, according to the magazine. If true, Gears of War 3's April release date will mark a break in the series' 2-year release cycle. Why the change? Well, according to Edge, Microsoft doesn't want the game's debut to overshadow the launch of Project Natal, which is set for launch in the fall. Also, the holiday shopping season isn't as vital for games as it once was, as evidenced by this year's jam-packed first and second quarters. I mean, I'm broke, aren't you? Well, that's it, your GameSpot news update for March 16th. For more headlines, head on over to news.gamespot.com.
Thanks for that update, Tor. Now, Kevin, look at the stuff on my desk.
You've got some awesome stuff here. Let me see that shirt there.
It's like thermal underwear.
That is pretty awesome. You know, the best part is we're going to give this stuff away at the end of the show, but you know the best part about winning this thermal
Blue
underwear?
M&Ms.
Well, no, I was going to say the best part of winning this shirt is that I've already worn it.
Oh.
And okay, no, not really. But in all seriousness, Jody roamed the GDC floor. She brought us back a bunch of stuff that we're going to give away to you, and that's a wonderful thing. But before we do that, we are going to go and see what the new releases bring this week, so take it away.
Kratos has been yelling about vengeance since he first appeared in 2005, and he's finally on the verge of getting it. After years of anticipation, God of War 3 hits the PlayStation 3 this week, its arrival preceded by critical acclaim. However, the Ghost of Sparta isn't the only draw in what's shaping up to be a huge week at retailers. Before God of War 3 debuts, retailers will welcome the latest extension in Nintendo's Pokemon franchise. The new DS game launched Sunday, and will be available in, mostly similar, Heart Gold and Soul Silver versions. Each edition comes with a Pokewalker pedometer, allowing players to level up their combative pets even when they're not playing. There's a third renowned franchise receiving a new installment this week, as Command & Conquer 4 Tiberian Twilight launches for the PC. Billed as the conclusion to the series' Tiberium saga, the game features different campaigns for the Global Defense Initiative and Brotherhood of Nod factions, with each faction playable in solo or cooperative modes. It will also have a 5 vs 5 objective-based online multiplayer mode. Other familiar franchises with release this week include Dragon Age and Perfect Dark. Last year's hit Dragon Age Origins will receive its first retail expansion in the form of Awakening, while Rare's original Nintendo 64 shooter is being re-released on the Xbox Live Arcade with a high-definition facelift courtesy of 4J Studios. Not every major game launch of the week comes from an established series. THQ and 4A Games are launching the post-apocalyptic survival shooter role-playing game Metro 2033 on the PC and Xbox 360. Also, Sega is rolling out the dice with new RPG and strategy titles as Resonance of Fate heads to the Xbox 360 and PS3, while Infinite Space comes to the DS. The former is set in a steampunk world and developed by Star Ocean studio Tri-Ace, while the latter is the latest fruit of Sega's partnership with Bayonetta and Mad World developer Platinum Games. For further details on the week's games, visit GameSpot's new releases page. Release dates are based on retailer listings and are subject to change.
So that was everything that was coming out this week, but there's more. Let's check out our next segment this week on the Wii Shop Channel. This week on Wii Shop Channel, the console gets 2 offerings in one classic Virtual Console edition. First up is Ghostfire Games' WiiWare fighting title Rage of the Gladiator. Rated T for teen and priced at 1,000 Wii points, the single-player game will have players square off against a variety of fantastical opponents, some of whom will have magic abilities. Players themselves can also cast spells if they choose to specialize in magic. Offense and defense specializations are also available. A second WiiWare game, Code Monkey's Triple Shot Sports, is available for 500 Wii points. As the name implies, the game will let players engage in a variety of target shooting events, including archery, pistols, and rifles. Wind speed and other weather conditions will also factor into the game, which is rated E for everyone. The Wii Virtual Console gets only one game this week, the TurboGrafx 16 version of Konami's Castlevania, Rondo of Blood. Originally released in 1993, the game was the 10th installment in the now lengthy Castlevania series, which follows the vampire hunter Richter Belmont through 9 trap and monster-filled levels. It is the first time the original game has been released outside of Japan in its original form. Priced at 900 Wii points, the game is rated T for teen. There's also a handful of DSiWare titles arriving this week, covering a variety of subjects. Gameloft's Zoo Frenzy will let players raise and train virtual zoo animals with a variety of minigames. Taeon's 101 Mini Golf World lets players use their stylus as a putter on the 101 mini golf course holes. And Tag Games' Carjack Streets will put players into a Grand Theft Auto-style underworld where they must raise $1 million by committing various crimes. That's it for this week. We'll be back next Tuesday with the latest This Week on Wii Shop Channel.
So that was This Week on the Wii Shop Channel, but now we're going to go over and take a look at the first of 2 daily demos today. Sophia, did you play Dead to Rights?
No, I didn't, but Brian did. He's going to check out Dead to Rights Retribution up next in our daily demo.
Hey guys, Brian Eckberg here with your daily demo. We're talking Dead to Rights Retribution with Emre Yaleh of Volatile Games. This is a game, a sort of reimagining of a game that came out in 2002, I believe, correct?
Yes, it is a reimagining of the franchise. We like to say that this game is boot in reboot.
Right.
What we did is that we looked at the original game, took the best elements of it, and then constructed a whole new game around those elements. So basically, it is a brand new game, but still is recognizably Dead to Rights.
All right, well, I know we have some footage of the game, so let's get right into it. Tell us who you play. I know we sort of have 2 characters that we're talking about, but let's talk about
Yes.
Jack first. Who is Jack? What do you do in this game?
Jack Slate is a vice cop. During the story, he discovers a conspiracy. And it is his job to find out who is behind it and, of course, take down the bad guys. And the second character is, of course, going to be Shadow, his dog.
Okay. We're seeing Jack in action here. Jack is one of these guys who sort of punches and shoots first and asks questions later. He's a great video game character because there's lots of action, right?
Yes, what we try to do with Jack's character and the attached gameplay is to give the option to the players to discover how they want to play this game. You know, I like action heroes who are capable with their gun, with their hand-to-hand fight, and they can take care of themselves. So the idea is that you can move in and out of the different gameplays. It's a third-person fighting game and a third-person shooting game combined.
Well, tell me about the controls. How do you control Jack, and what can you do with Shadow when you're not controlling him directly?
With Jack, it's very, very simple. The face buttons are the hand-to-hand fight. You can use the typical things what you would expect. You have light punches, medium punches, heavy punches, guards, counters if you time a guard well. We have a lot of special actions which you can initiate with the A when an option comes up. These are like disarming an enemy or taking them down with brutal execution moves. And the shoulder buttons are for fighting. You can do the typical things. You can take cover, you can aim, you can run and gun, and you can move from one to the other. For example, I can do a combo, lift an enemy up in midair and take out my shotgun and shoot him while he's still flying.
I did that.
which is actually quite awesome, let's be honest here. Shadow, when he's joining you as an AI buddy, it's quite of a tricky one because we wanted to put in as much content as we can. You know, developers is putting in the kitchen sink, go to the neighbors, put his kitchen sink as well.
Right.
But then we realized it's too complicated, so we ended up with a very, very simplified control system. D-pad up means that attack that guy. If the guy is not aware of me, the same D-pad up means take that guy out silently. If I look at a gun, that means fetch that gun. If I look at the cover, that means go there. Where D-pad down is always come back and help me.
All right, so we've seen Jack in action. Now we're looking at Shadow in action.
Yes.
You can actually play as Shadow. Tell me about that.
Yes, in certain areas of the game, Shadow becomes a playable character. When you play with him, it's very different, the pacing of the game. You know how in shooter games sometimes you have driving sections. Now Shadow is our driving section.
Right.
With Jack, it's all about being as loud as you can, you know, shooting people in the face, punching people in the face. With Shadow, it's all about being as quiet as you can, you know, taking out enemies in a stealth sort of way. So when you control him, you have two main game modes. One is about strength and speed. You can rush at enemies, you can bowl them over, and it's all about being vicious and a savage beast. The other part is that when you're in stealth mode, you can alternate between those two, just pulling the right or left trigger.
I see.
So when you're in the stealth mode, you can see enemies over and behind walls. You can tell what state they are in. Different colors mark, are they aware of you? Are they engaged with you? And of course, that's going to show how they behave. Neutral enemies, of course, it feels safe, while enemies marked as red are going to start panicking and start shooting in dark corners, and they're just trying to hunt you down, and sometimes even just run away. You have many, many different tools with him. You can hide bodies just by dragging them. You can bark to draw attention to yourself and then get behind the enemy who is, you know, trying to check out where the noise is coming from. So there's a lot of features there, and it's actually quite good fun to play as Shadow.
All right, well, great. Well, the final question, of course, is when is this game coming out?
The game is dated to be released middle of April. It's going to be a worldwide release for PS3 and Xbox 360 at the same time.
All right, Dead to Rights Retribution coming very soon. Emery, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Look for the game soon.
All right, big game coming out today, God of War 3. Kevin, have you played it?
I haven't yet, but it's going to be the first thing I buy this week.
Oh, very exciting. I can't wait to start mashing some buttons and beating up gods.
Absolutely. But you know, not everybody has beaten up gods in a God of War game before, so if you're new to the franchise, picking up God of War 3 this week, make sure to check out our starting block, which is up next.
Hi, I'm Todd Pappy, design director at Sony Santa Monica. Today we're going to talk about 3 points. We're going to talk about combos and how to link them together. So you can use your combat grapple to help get you closer to guys and get you from the air back down to the ground, or from the ground back up to the air. And then you can also use the fire bow to hit guys off in the distance and keep that combo count rolling. So here, there's actually 2 ways to get on the Harpy. You can actually grab her by just pressing circle, or you can use the combat grapple, which is the easy way to get on the Harpy. And then when the beautiful blue light shines on the Harpy, that's when it's safe to jump, and you will connect to her every single time. Some of the other things that you can use are using the evade and then hitting triangle right afterwards, and you'll go into an attack move, which basically lays down kind of like a row of fire in front of you. And then there's also the hold square button, where you hit it and you hold square, and then you'll start going into very close attacks, and then do a nice little flurry at the end. We'll also talk about how blades versus the cestus work. So blades are kind of your ranged melee weapon, and the damage that they do are it's a little bit less than than the cestus does, just because we have the whole risk-reward system working, where we want the player to get close and kind of feel like a boxer, and you're going to do more damage, but yet the likelihood of you getting hit increases. So when you're actually playing the game, the longer the ranged weapon is, the less damage it's going to do. It's just kind of the rule of thumb. So the cestus, you've got the whole 1-2 Rocky aspect. If you hold down the square button, you'll go into kind of a combo frenzy on Centaur's kneecaps. And then with our new mini-game system, try to stare at the center of the screen and use your peripheral vision to know what button you're supposed to push. So left would be square, up will be triangle, and it relates directly to the controls mapped on the controller. These tips and tricks that I've told you are a good baseline of things that you can incorporate into your arsenal. So go out, kill things, and enjoy the game.
So we had a lot of coverage going on last week, but in case you missed it, we had a demo of APB. So here it is, check it out.
So here we are in what we call the social district. This is where hundreds of players can come together just to hang out and basically spend a lot of time on things like the customization features in the game. So you see here basically booths that they can use, which access what we call different customization studios. So one of the first ones that we can go to over here, for example, is the actual persona customization, the actual the body of the character itself. So here you can see the character that we created in all her glory. And you have an amazing amount of customization details in here. You can add weight to the character, take weight off, or the clothing automatically morphs, etc. The eyes, the face, you can change the skin tones. You can just go down to an unprecedented level of detail with this to create exactly the kind of character you want. So the height there. You could probably go into something, maybe look at the face a little bit more. So in terms of applying scars, for example, as a scar, you can then age the scar. Even affects the iris of the eye as it goes across it. So it's just a tremendous amount of detail that you can add. So from there, we'll jump into one of the other customization studios. We can go and have a look at the clothing one here. So there's literally thousands of items of clothing in the game, but the real power is really when you start to customize each individual clothing. So what started off here was probably as a very, very plain pair of trousers, given a very unique look, this kind of snakeskin type of look. And that was really created by the players. We look very carefully at fashion, so for example you can layer clothing. You can say, for example, like here I just want to change one glove, I want my shirt hanging out of my trousers rather than tucked in. So we made it so that you can really mix and match any style of clothing to get exactly the kind of fashion look that you want. You can see things like the kind of the beanie cap there that completely works with all the hairstyles. You don't have to worry about any kind of piece of clothing not working with anything else in the game. It's a very unique system that way. And once you start to create all these looks, you can completely save them as a whole wardrobe. So depending when you log into the game, what kind of how you feel like dressing, you can switch out a complete wardrobe. All these creations and everything in the game, such as weapons, clothing, everything you create, everything you earn. We have a full auction house system in the game as well, so players can decide, maybe they've already got one of these items, or they've created something very, very cool, like a highly customizable car. They can try and sell that then to other players. So that's something that's very, very different. It's definitely something you see typically in online games like RPGs, but not so much in the kind of the action-based multiplayer games that are out just now. In terms of things like, we can probably go up and have a look at the things like the vehicle customization. In these districts, we also have what we call display points. So if you create something very cool, you can actually put it on display with a for sale sign on it and try and persuade other players, to buy your cool customized vehicles or clothing. So this is the vehicle that we saw the character driving earlier on. So all the custom paint work and the decals, things like the blood roses up the side, all of that was created by the players using the customization system. So as you can see, she's got some other ones she's been playing around with, so tremendous detail. You can basically get lots of tune-up parts as well, spoilers, new wheels, you can upgrade your stereo to make it louder, bull bars. So just in itself, just purely the vehicle component about customizing vehicles, driving vehicles, playing music from vehicles. We've tried to just set a new bar on everything we do in this game in terms of customization and engaging the player to create exactly what they want. So we like to feel this is kind of the crafting of online games taken to a new level. So it's very, very skillful. It's not just about picking and choosing and trying to make a mashup of other things. We even did the same with the audio. Though we have this great Last.fm technology, we actually went a step further and added effectively this kind of sequencer, this MIDI sequencer, so players can actually create their own music tracks. They can be just 15-second little things, or 3-minute compositions in terms of complete records. Once again, these can be attached to many items in the game: death themes, sirens on vehicles, just music tracks they want to play from their vehicle. So a full music customization system built into the game as well. Within these social districts as well, we have things like statues. So if you really want to become famous in the game and you win one of maybe the daily or the weekly leagues, the game actually erects statues in your honor within these social districts for every other player in the game to see. So they're obviously very, very prestigious, very, very difficult to attain. But we do have many, many, many kinds of leagues in the game. So we're pretty sure that there's something there for everybody depending on how you like to play. Some of those are clan-based leagues, just personal character-based leagues. And it basically erects statues as and when you won the league, as exactly how you looked. That gives you an overview of where we are with APB. Hopefully, people will see it's very unique, a very unique take on doing something persistent in the online space. We're in closed beta right now. We have been for a while, getting great feedback from players. So we're just fine-tuning all the systems, and providing all goes well, we're still on target for a release in the second quarter of this year. So hope to see many of you in the streets of Sao Paulo soon.
All right, everyone, it's trivia time, and we are finally going to give away this lovely shirt that has Essence de Kevin on it.
I did not, just to be clear, I have not actually worn that shirt, but you can pretend I have.
Yeah, that's true. You can also sign it if you want. We've got this ball thing. I think there's paper clips and a magnet thing inside. There's like a water
over
bottle.
Here too.
Yeah, sure. I think, oh yeah.
From Volition. Go Volition.
Yes, so lots of great stuff. We have a bag, there's books, magazines, pretty much anything Jody could carry. And to win all this great stuff, the question is, what was the original name of GDC, who organized it, and where was it held, and what year was the first one? Now, if you have the answer, you can submit it in the green trivia module on the side of the page, or you can email us on onthespot@gamespot.com. And that about wraps up another episode of Today on the Spot, but be sure to stay tuned to our site because we're going to have a Splinter Cell Conviction Now Playing multiplayer session coming up.
Not to mention there's a Medal of Honor trailer to check out, and don't miss the Deus Ex 3 trailer that also came out. The teaser trailer looks amazing.
So lots of good stuff to check out. And from all of us on Today on the Spot, I'm Sophia Tong.
I'm Kevin Van Ord.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Tune in Thursday for a world-exclusive look at Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Heroes 3 on the PSP and this week on Xbox Live.